Congratulations on your victory, Paul. You're no stranger to a spirited stare down in your career. But I wanted to ask you about yesterday and how that played out, and if you felt it may have kind of gotten in his head a little bit.
I enjoy the pageantry, if you will. It's part of me. It's part of me getting into the opponent's mind, if you will. But what he didn't know was backstage it actually kicked off again. So as we come walking out, we did our way in, we went out the back door and we come in the side door. So he had the opportunity to turn round at that point when it was just myself and him. He waited to get back in where all the teams were, and then he came up to me and spoke some language I didn't understand and I'm assuming he was telling me to calm down. And then I definitely stood up and I may have pushed him, maybe. I don't know the ins and outs yet, but something definitely happened. And the security guards were like, "Right, Mr. Craig, calm that down, or you'll go and sit in the head teacher's office."
Nice.
So that's what happened.
You enjoy doing that a little bit? Because it's a little mental warfare for you?
I enjoy it, and just to get into his space and feel him and feel how his emotions are, because as humans, we tend not to break that barrier of personal space, and this is an opportunity to do it, and it's very, very uncomfortable if you're not used to it, so I just enjoy doing it, getting into their face. Unfortunately, the hat, and it was banging me right in between the eyes, so I tried to move it. What I didn't want to do was knock it off, because I thought that's very disrespectful. That's not what I'm going for. What I'm trying to go for is just a face-off, and unfortunately we didn't get it the way I seen it, because he was too busy trying to header me with the hat.
That's funny. So the fight itself tonight, were you surprised at all that he took you down? I mean, people should know by now, right?
Yeah, they should know, but it happens, doesn't it? And everybody seems to take me down and end up in this bad position where I am able to facilitate a triangle. It was one of these bittersweet moments, because although I was sinking that triangle in, I had to take extra shots to the face, which resulted in me getting a couple of stitches and rocking the Nelly look, 90s Nelly. And he was dropping these elbows, but every time he was dropping them and hitting punches, he was getting deeper and deeper sunk into this choke, resulting in the victory. So it was bittersweet. Obviously, I'd love to have left the fight with no injuries, so we could have a quick turnaround. Vegas, I know, is just round the corner. A couple of stitches, get them out in a week. We've done it before. We've done it against Shogun Rua. We went in there with a fresh wind. So who knows? Maybe you'll see me in the Vegas card.
Nice. It's funny, because I was going to ask you if you almost enjoy taking a little damage. It seems like you have to take a little damage before you get things done most times.
See, I would love not to, but we've said this before, because we'd said I'm the Homer Simpson of MMA. Take a bit of damage, and then it results in the victory. But I've got a good record against Russians. It's especially dangerous Russians. So ideally no damage, but hey, we get the job done.
Nice. Last thing for me, you kind of touched on it there. I guess the world is kind of unpredictable right now. Who can travel, do what? But ideally, when would you fight again? Are there opponents? What would be next for you?
I would love to run back a fight, and you know what that fight is. I'd love to run back. It ended in a draw for me. It was against Shogun Rua. No disrespect to him, but he should easily win tonight. He should easily be able to turn that, go straight back into a fight camp, and that fight could be run back. Now, when I say, I might sound like I'm preaching and being like it was unfair for me because I didn't have a full fight camp. I had an opportunity to fight one of the greatest fighters in our division, and I took that in a heartbeat. But from his point of view, he took a last-minute opponent. He had trained for a previous opponent, and then it was unfair on him as well. So the two of us had an unfair disadvantage. Now, what that fight could have been is, if both of us had a full fight camp, what would that look like? Could it be another legendary fight for Shogun Rua? Could I then go in the history books with Shogun Rua? That's what I want. But Shogun Rua, as we know, tends not to have a quick turnaround. So there's other fighters there. There's Ryan Spann, who we were supposed to fight in London, and unfortunately that didn't go ahead. Very powerful striker, very slow as well. We've also got Johnny Walker. I've been tagged in a few posts with that. That'd be a very interesting fight. I know he's coming off a few losses, but he's already built a name for himself. He's built a name for being explosive and winning fights crazily. I believe he's got holes in his game, and I believe there's opportunities for me to capitalise on that.
What's up, man? How you doing? Over here.
Move on.
Yeah.
No, right at the front.
Were you surprised he was trying to punch you in the face instead of just getting out of the triangle? It seems it was obvious it was being set up and he just was ignoring it.
Yep. If you're a wrestler or you're Sambo, that's your style. You want to try and grind. You look at guys like Khabib, who that is a bread and butter, where he holds them to the ground and he will pick them apart. But if you've got an active guard player like myself, I thrive on being on my back at jiu-jitsu. Ask any training partner. It's a dangerous place for me, whereas opponents like being on top. I love being on my back, and I'm very, very active with the elevator sweep, throwing them off balance, which then sets up that triangle for the actual submission tonight. It was set up by the mirror lock, where you basically turn his full body, opens up his back shoulder, which allows the triangle to be set up. And by him dropping these elbows, it just sunk that choke in deeper and deeper until the point where he had no other option than to try and punch out a submission. And for any jiu-jitsu practitioner or any experienced MMA jiu-jitsu fighter, they would not advise a fighter to punch their way out of submission.
Congrats on the win.
Nobody else? Nobody's like, nah, don't understand what he's saying. Nah.